Hi, very good morning to one and all. And this is B. Dinesh Babu, and I am assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Chabrol Engineering College. And as all we know that because of the effect of COVID-19, we are unable to cover some of the topics in the present semester. And because of that, we are going to take online classes and we are going to upload some online classes in the YouTube so that it can be viewed by all the students. And today we are going to cover a topic in applets, that is in Java programming language. We are going to cover the applets topic today. And we all know that in the previous video lectures, we saw about abstract window toolkit and swings and some of the simple and complex programs in abstract window toolkit and swings. And now from today, we are going to cover the topics of applet. And then we are going to cover, and the next coming videos, we are going to cover the topics which are related to event and event handling. So after doing all these things, the complete unit number 5 and unit number 6, or according to the JNTU Kakinada syllabus, will be covered. So this applet topic may take 1 or 2 lectures, and then events topic will take some 3 or 4 lectures. So in total, in 6 lectures, we are going to cover the entire unit number 5. And a warm welcome to all the participants. So today the topic is applets in Java programming language. So before going to the applet and applet definition, let us see what are the different categories of Java programs we have. So the entire Java is divided into, maybe some people will say that entire Java is divided into core Java and advanced Java. And in our syllabus, we are not going to deal with any advanced Java topics here. We are going to cover only core Java topics. And apart from that one, the entire Java programs are divided into 3 categories. As you seen on the screen, the 3 categories of Java programs are standalone applications, and the second type are called applets, and the third type are called server-side applications. So these server-side applications are not covered so far. And in the future also we are not going to cover, because those things are not there in our syllabus. But up to now we have covered all the standalone applications. So standalone applications, in the sense we are going to write some simple and some complex programs in our notepad or in Edit Plus 3 or some NetBeans. We are going to write some simple programs or complex programs, and we run the programs in the same computer system. And we will see all the output of these programs. The output will be displayed in the same window, but in case of applet programs, the output of the applet programs will be displayed in a separate window that I will explain in the next. I will show the differences between standalone and applet. In that I will explain, I will show you. And then coming to the server-side applications, and these programs, we are not going to cover these programs. Right? So the entire Java programs are divided into 3 types: standalone, applets, and server-side applications. And these are the differences. These are the differences of between standalone applications and applet programs. Going to the first one, these programs, these standalone programs have a main method. We all know that the main method in Java programming language is public static void main string args. And each and every program, we may write any number of classes, or we may declare any number of variables, or we may have any number of methods inside each and every class. But one of the class should contain main method, that is public static void main string args. And without that main method, we cannot write even one standalone application program. And coming to the applets, we may or may not believe these applet programs do not contain main method. We don't have that public static void main string args in our applet programs. Instead of that main method, in order to print something on the output screen, or in order to draw some shapes on the output screen, we are going to use a method called as public void paint method. And paint is a method which is going to take a graphics class object as a parameter. And by using that graphics class object, we are going to write something on the applet or draw some different shapes or color the different shapes on the applet programs. Yes, so applet programs do not contain main method. Instead of main method, we are going to use that paint method. And coming to the second difference between standalone applications and applets, the second one is the life cycle of normal programs, that is a standalone applications. The life cycle will start and ends within the main method. We all know that we can have, I already said that we can have any number of classes, but only one class contains a main method. And whenever we compile the program and we try to run the program, the JVM will search us for the main method. And it will start executing the program from the main method, and it will move to the different classes and different methods depending upon our objects creation and method callings. And finally, it will reach to the main method. Instead, if we got some exceptions, that is a different case. If the program is compiled and run successfully, we definitely start, JVM will definitely start the execution from the main method and ends the execution within the main method. That is why we said that the life cycle of a normal standalone application program will start and ends within the main method. And next one, on the side of applets, it is a different way. The applets do not have a main method. Already we said in the first difference that these applets do not have main method. But now what happens in case of applets? We don't have any main method. Now how these applet programs will start and end execution? Here in applet programs, the life cycle of applet is completely different from the normal programs. Here in applet programs, the life cycle have 4 methods: init, start, stop, and destroy. So the usage of those methods and how these methods are called by the JVM, I will explain in the next slides. And keep these points in your mind. The life cycle of an applet contains 4 methods: init, start, stop, and destroy method. So the life cycle of an applet, will start with init or start method. You cannot say the life cycle will start with alone init method. It will start with init or start method. And the life cycle of an applet ends with destroy method. So on the side of standalone applications, we have main method, and the execution of the program will start and ends within the main method. That is why we can say the life cycle of a standalone application will start and ends within the main method. But in the case of applets, the life cycle of an applet will start with init or start method and ends at destroy method. Coming to the third difference between these two, standalone applications and applets. So for writing all the programs in standalone applications, we require only one file. We are going to work only one file. We may have any number of classes, but we save the program with the class name which is having the main method. For example, I have 4 classes in our program: A, B, C, D, class A, class B, class C, and class D. But my main method, that is the public static void main string args, the main method is in class C. So I save the program as c.java, and then I compile the program by using java c command, and I am working with command prompt, and then I run the program by using java command. So here, while writing and executing a Java program, that is by using standalone applications, we have only one file, and that file should be saved with .java extension. That is why I have mentioned that for writing these programs, we require only one file, that is the .java file. On the side of applets, for writing these applet programs, we need to have two files. One is the .java file, and the second one is the .html file. Because we have seen the definition of an applet, that is, applet is a simple Java program which will run on a Java-enabled web browser. So, when we are working with web browsers, we need to have the HTML code, Without the HTML code, we cannot work with web browsers. So here the applet programs are one of the type of Java programs, and these applet programs will run on web browsers. So here we need to have two files in order to run these applet programs. The first one is the .java file, and the second one is the .html file. .java file will deal with the Java code. .html file will deal with the running of the program on a web browser. And the fourth one, while writing the standalone applications, for example, I want to take some runtime inputs. For taking those runtime inputs, in order to take those runtime inputs, we need to create, there are some methods. We can use buffer reader. That is, we can read by using buffer reader or buffer input reader, or we can also read the inputs, runtime inputs, by using scanner class. So if we want to use the scanner class, we cannot directly use, because the scanner class is located in UTIL package. So in order to use that particular scanner class, we need to import that UTIL package when writing our program. So we have to write the first statement of our program as import space java.util.star, if we want to use the scanner class in our program. So that is, and for example, if I don't want to have runtime inputs, so there is no need of UTIL package. There is no need of scanner class. So I am not going to use that UTIL package in my, I'm not going to import that UTIL package in my program. That is, it depends. If we have a situation in order to use the scanner class, we import UTIL. And if you don't want to use that scanner class, there is no need to import that UTIL package. It depends. So that is the main meaning of that fourth point. We may or may not import packages. Importing packages depends upon our need. If we have need, we will import a package. And if we don't have any need, we will never import a package. So importing a package will depend upon definitely need. And keep one thing in mind when we are talking about packages. There is one default package in Java programming language. That is a lang package, L-A-N-G. If we import it or not, if we write a statement like import space java.lang.star or not, the JVM will automatically imports that package. That is why it is called as a default package. We all know when we are dealing with the programs in C programming language and C++ programming language, we just include the header files. Hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h. Those two header files, when we are using the older version of the compilers, we must and should write the first two statements, hash include stdio.h and hash include conio.h. And while we are dealing with the newer versions of the compiler, there is no need to include those two header files. Those two header files will be automatically included in each and every C and C++ program when we are using the newer versions of compilers. And similarly, in Java programming language, we may or may not use the newer versions. Is not a problem. And this java.lang.star, that is the lang package, will be automatically imported in each and every program. We may or may not import that package. So that is a fourth point under standalone applications. If we have need, we will import a package, and if we don't have any need, we don't import a package. And if we import a package or not, JVM will automatically add that lang package to our program. And then next one, coming to the fourth point under applets. And this fourth point states that we have to import applet package. Keep that in mind. While writing the applet programs, we need to import this applet package. It is mandated. Without this applet package, we cannot use applet class. That is, and one more thing is, applet package is the smallest package among all the packages in Java programming language. We have a lot number of packages in Java. Among all those packages, this applet package is the smallest package. And this applet package contains only one class, that is the applet class. And I am saying that applet package and applet class. So someone who don't have an idea on this Java programming language may confuse. Keep the one or two points in your mind what I am going to say now. So when we are dealing with packages, a package name should start with a small letter and class name will start with a capital letters. It is a convention. So when we say applet package, so the name of the name of that package will be small a p p l e t, and when we say applet class, the name will be capital A p p l e t. So we have to import the applet package, and as I said earlier, that the applet package is the smallest package among all the packages in Java programming language. And this applet package only contains one and only one class, that is the applet class. And coming to the fifth difference between the standalone applications and applet programs, the fifth one, our class may or may not extend another class. It depends upon our need. So the meaning of this particular point is, for example, if I want to show the single inheritance, for example, class A, and I want to show single inheritance, class B, I will write the next class as class B extends A. And if I want to show any another other inheritance, I will use the extends keyword, and I will use the class names that depends upon our need. But coming to the side of applets, our class must and should extends applet class. And in standalone application, it depends. If we want to achieve any inheritance, we will use the extends keyword, and on the side of applets, we have to extend, that is, we have to inherit the applet class for sure. And then coming to the sixth one, in standalone applications, after completion of writing the program, we save the program with the class name where the main method is located, and then we compile the program in the command prompt by using javac command. And then after the successful compilation, we run the Java program by using Java command. And coming to the side of applets, we normally compile we know that the Java in applets, we have two files, that is a .java file and .html file. Now the first thing we want to do is we have to compile the Java file, that is by using javac command. Here also in applets also we compile the Java program by using javac command, that is javac space that particular class name .java. And after the successful compilation, we have to run the applet program, and the applet program will be run by using a command called as applet viewer command. And we have to use this command on the HTML file. Keep this thing in your mind. So here we are not using this command on the Java file. We are using this command on the HTML file. So we have to use the command as applet viewer space. If our HTML file name is one.html. Applet viewer space one.html. So this is how we can compile and run normal standalone application programs and applet programs. And finally, the last one, while we are dealing with the standalone applications, the output of that particular standalone application will be displayed in the same window. For example, if we have written one program for addition of two numbers, and we have taken two inputs from the user during the runtime, and we add that particular Java program will add those two inputs and display the output on the same window, on the same black color, that is the command prompt window. But coming to the applets, the output of any applet program will not be displayed in the same window. A new window will be created, and the output of the Java file will be displayed on that particular new window. And these are the important differences between applets and standalone applications, right? Let us see one more time briefly. First one, standalone applications have main method, that is public static void main string args, and applet programs do not contain main method. Instead, they will contain a method called as public void paint method. And the life cycle of a normal program will start and ends within the main method. But in applets, the life cycle will start with init or start methods and ends at destroy method. And while writing the standalone applications, we have only one .java file. But while dealing with the applet programs, we have two files, that is a .java file and .html file. And it depends, we may or may not import any package, depends upon our need. And at the same time, we may or may not extend a class, depends upon our need in standalone applications. While we are dealing with the applets, that applet, we have to import the applet package. and then our class should extend the applet class. And compilation and running of standalone applications will be done by using Java-C and Java commands. And compilation and running of the applet program will be done by using Java-C and applet viewer command. So the output of the standalone applications will be displayed in the same window, and output of the applet programs will be displayed in a separate window. So these are the differences. After these seeing these differences, let us move to the the life cycle of an applet. In the second point of the differences, I said that the life cycle of an applet will start and ends. Will start with init or start method and ends at destroy method. Let us see what is the life cycle of an applet and how we are going to make use of that life cycle. And see, this is the life cycle. The life cycle of an applet. See the point which was mentioned there. The methods which are called internally by the JVM. Here we have Java virtual machine, and this Java virtual machine will call some methods internally. These methods are called while executing an applet is called lifecycle of an applet. That is, the methods which are called internally by the JVM while executing an applet is called lifecycle of an applet. So when we are trying to execute an applet, the JVM will internally call some methods, and these methods are called as lifecycle of an applet. That is the meaning of that point. So while we are executing an applet program, JVM will internally call some methods, and these methods are called as lifecycle of an applet. So let us see what are the names of those methods and how we are going to use that methods and how that JVM is calling those methods. So the lifecycle of an applet. So there are 4 methods in the lifecycle of an applet. The names of those 4 methods are init, start, stop, and destroy methods. So there are 4 methods in the lifecycle of an applet: init, start, stop, and destroy. These 4 methods are called internally by the JVM, and the calling of those methods internally by the JVM is called as a lifecycle. We have already seen the definition in the previous slide. So let us move to the next slide and see how JVM is calling these methods internally. Right. See the first point, as I mentioned, that the output of an applet is displayed in a separate window. We already seen in the differences also. The 7th point, that the output of the applet programs is displayed in the separate window. Yes, the output of the programs is displayed in the separate window. And now when we execute an applet by using applet viewer command, we already saw that we compile the programs, applet programs by using Java-C, and we run the applet programs by using applet viewer command. And whenever we call the applet viewer command on a HTML file, a new window will be generated, because the output of the applet should be displayed in output of the applet programs will be displayed in the new window. That is why a new window will be opened. And in such case, that window will be opened whenever the JVM calls the init method internally. So whenever we make use of applet viewer command, we will see a new window will be generated. And internally what happens is, whenever we call an applet viewer command, JVM will calls the init method, so that init method will generate an output window. Right. And next one, when that window is opened, it should, in that window, the output of the Java program will be displayed. So the output of the Java program will be displayed whenever the JVM internally calls start method. So a new window will be opened whenever the JVM calls init method, and the output of our Java program will be displayed in that new window whenever the JVM internally calls start method. That is why we have mentioned in differences that the life cycle of an applet will start with init or start method. Init is used to create a new window, and start method is used to display the output of our Java program in that new window. That is why we have mentioned that the life cycle will start with init or start method. And when we minimize that output window, that the output window will have the same properties similar to our normal windows. So when we minimize that output window, or if that particular output window is overlapped by some other windows or some other applications, and at that time the output on that particular window will be erased. So This is done whenever the JVM internally calls stop method. When that particular output window is minimized, minimization means that output on that output window will not be displayed. So whenever we make a click on the minimize button of that particular output window, JVM internally calls the stop method. That stop method will delete all the output on that window. And whenever if we want to close that window, we can close that window by clicking on that close button. And if we close that output window, that means JVM will internally calls destroy method. So that is why we have mentioned in differences that the life cycle of an applet ends with destroy method. Okay, so these are the 4 methods: init, start, stop, and destroy. So init method, when a new window is created, that means JVM calls init method internally. When the output on that new window is displayed, that means the JVM will calls start method internally. When that window is minimized or overlapped by some other windows, that means JVM will call stop method that will erase the output on the particular window. And whenever the window is closed, JVM internally calls destroy method. So, and the life cycle of an applet starts with init start method and ends at destroy method. Coming to the next slide. So, during the entire life cycle of an applet, init and destroy method can be called only once. Important point in the features of applet. So, whenever a new window is created, that means JVM calls init method. When that window is closed, that means JVM is calling destroy method. So, creation of window and closing of window and start and stop methods, all this combination of these 4 methods is called as life cycle of an applet. Whenever an init method is called, and we cannot recall the init method until and unless we call the destroy method. So during the entire life cycle of an applet, this init method and destroy method will be called only once. But coming to the remaining 2 methods in the life cycle of an applet, start and stop methods. These start and stop method can be called any number of times. For example, I have used the applet viewer command. So that particular applet viewer command will generate an output window. That means JVM is calling init method internally. And the output of the Java program will be displayed on that particular output window, and JVM internally calls the start method. And when we minimize that particular window, JVM calls stop method. And when again I maximize that particular output window, JVM again calls start method because it has to display some output on that output. And if the window is overlapped by some other window, JVM internally calls stop method. And again, if our output window gets activated, that is our output window gets before the viewer, then JVM internally calls start method. And if we have make a click on the destroy that close button, JVM internally calls destroy method. So you can observe that init method is called only once, start and stop method are called twice or thrice, and destroy method is called only once. So that means during the entire life cycle of an applet, we can create an output window and we can close that output window only once. Before, after creating an output window and before closing that output window, we can minimize and maximize that particular window any number of times, and we can overlap that window and we can again activate that window any number of times. That means, so creation of that output window means JVM is internally calling init method, and the closing of that output window means that JVM is internally calling destroy method. So that init and destroy method can be called only once during the entire life cycle. But in between that init and destroy methods, we can minimize and maximize, we can overlap, and we can get activated that window any number of times. That is, start and stop method can be called any number of times. And if you have any queries regarding this presentation, you can drop a comment in the comment box, or you can, and I will answer that comments as soon as possible. And thank you for being patient while my lecture is going on. And in the next class, we are going to cover some simple programs on applets. And I will show how to write an applet program and how to run an applet program in the next coming classes. And thank you very much.